Huzzah, dude. Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Let's just jump right into today's story. John Anthony Walker was born in Washington, D.C. on July 28th, 1937. He went to high school in Scranton, Pennsylvania, but he dropped out, so he didn't go on to work at the office. He and a friend had staged a series of burglaries on May 27th, 1955, and managed to steal 2 tires, 4 quarts of oil, 6 cans of cleaner, and $3 in cash. So it was worth it. The pair engaged in a high-speed chase with police but were arrested 2 days later. John was given the choice of either jail or the military. John packed up and joined the Navy in 1955. He advanced as a radio man to chief petty officer in only 8 years. When he was stationed in Boston, he met and married his wife, Barbara Carlee, and together they had 4 kids, 3 daughters and a son. While he was stationed on the nuclear-powered fleet ballistic missile submarine USS Andrew Jackson in Charleston, South Carolina, John opened up a bar. However, the bar wasn't very successful, and he ended up in a lot of debt. In 1965, John was transferred to the newly built FBM USS Simon Bolivar. While there, he got a top-secret crypto clearance to work in the submarine's communications spaces. He and some other members of part of the submarine's communications team were members of the John Birch Society, and they were distributing literature about the organization to crew members and to friends who were on shore, which was where John attempted the playboy lifestyle. But John wasn't really a looker, so I don't know how that went for him. The John Birch Society is an American right-wing advocacy group that was founded in 1958. I don't know if they're still around today. I really couldn't tell you. In 1967, John was promoted to warrant officer, and in April, he was assigned as a communications watch officer at the headquarters of ComSublant in Norfolk, Virginia. He ran the communication center for the subforce, and in late 1967, John started spying for the Soviets. He was concerned about his financial situation since he had a growing amount of debt. So he walked into the old Soviet embassy in Washington, D.C. and sold a top-secret document, which was a radio cipher card, for a few $1,000s. He got a salary of $500, which is about $4,063 as of 2021, to $100 every week, and the $100 would be roughly $8,127 in 2021. That can't be correct. I think those numbers should be flipped because $100 should not be more than the $500. I don't know who researched this case, but they did a shit job. It was me. I researched it. He made himself feel better by justifying his actions by claiming that the information he handed over to the Soviets was already compromised when the North Koreans captured the U.S. Navy communications surveillance ship. However, that happened only after John gave the information over to the Soviets, so it was very much his fault. In the spring of 1968, John's wife found items in his desk that made her suspicious that he was a spy. Reportedly, John used the money that he had been making from spying to pay off his debts, move his family into a better neighborhood, and to turn around his failing bar by hiring a bartender. He also put some money away and tried to invest it as well. In December 1971, John was transferred to San Diego and was the communications officer on the supply ship USS Niagara Falls. In 1976, he retired from the Navy to give up the security clearance that he had gained. He had also advanced a little bit more in his career at this point as well, or before this point. So he was fairly high up. So I don't really understand why he gave up his security clearance, but whatever. He and Barbara also got divorced around this time due to his alcoholism and physical abuse. By 1984, John got his older brother, Arthur James Walker, who was a retired lieutenant commander, as well as his own son, Michael Lance Walker, who was an active-duty seaman since 1982, to help him commit espionage. The Boston office of the FBI interviewed Barbara about her ex-husband, but they thought that she was just a bitter, divorcee and that she wanted to drop a dime on her ex. The FBI went on to interview John's daughter Laura, who confirmed her mom's story that her dad was a KGB spy and that he had even tried to recruit her to join his espionage ring. After additional investigation, Michael was arrested at his hotel. The authorities found a footlocker full of copies of classified matter. John cooperated enough to gain a plea bargain that reduced the sentence for his son, By early June, Jerry Whitworth, Arthur Walker, and Michael Walker, who were his co-conspirators, were also in federal custody. Now, Jerry Whitworth was somebody that John had met while working, so they both were working for the Navy. So, sketch. He agreed to submit to an unchallenged conviction and life sentence to provide a full disclosure of the details of his spying and testify against a co-conspirator in exchange for a pledge from the prosecutors that the maximum sentence request for Michael was a 25-year prison sentence, and that is what Michael ended up getting. Everybody else got life sentences. Walker's son, Michael, who had a relatively minor role in the ring and agreed to testify in exchange for a reduced sentence, was released from prison on parole in February of 2000. John Walker died suffering cancer and diabetes on August 28, 2014, while in prison. He was eligible for parole in 2015. So that sucks. But also, he was a spy, so he should have just stayed in jail. That's it for me today. I thought this story was kind of interesting. I sort of like hearing about spies and whatnot. This one kind of went above my head just a little tiny bit, but I mean, you get the gist of what happened. I condensed it down. There was a lot of like formal military talk in this case, but I wanted to make it so that way we could all understand it. Shady dude, definitely should have stayed in prison for the rest of his life, which I guess he did. Not to speak ill of the dead, but whatevs. That is it for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up down below and don't forget to subscribe. If not, totally cool. Thanks for hanging with me for this video. However, for those of you that will be back tomorrow, we are going to be talking about the Joseph DeMare case and some new developments that have come from the 62-year-old cold case. So that'll be tomorrow. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe.